Boys and girls, I wanted us to go back to the picture and think about what are some things that could be happening here in the picture. What clues would tell us that that is a possibility? Does this look like the dog is going to help the person in some way? We can see that they are in a cold place, that there's snow, that they're dressed in warm clothing. What is it that this dog could be doing? What are some of your thoughts? Why don't you take a moment and think about it, and then we can share tomorrow when we meet on Zoom. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to listen to a story, and this story is going to be about a student or a child who is also working with a dog. The title of this story is Ming's Teacher. All right, here we go.
Ming's Teacher. What can you train a dog to do? How should you treat a dog that you are training? A long time ago, in a small town in China, there lived a man named Cheng who trained dogs. Cheng was a remarkable teacher and could teach dogs how to do amazing tricks. One day, Cheng went to the town square with one of his gifted dogs. People gathered to see what the dog would do, including a young boy named Ming, who was fascinated by Cheng's skill. Cheng held the dog's gaze for a few seconds. Then he nodded and began to hum a tune and clap his hands. The dog sprang up on her hind legs and danced in perfect time with the beat. After the performance, Cheng rewarded the dog with a small treat and patted her head to show his approval. Everyone applauded to show their appreciation and excitement, especially Ming.
More than anything, Ming wanted to have the same career as Cheng. I want to learn how to train dogs the way Cheng does, Ming thought. After all, how hard can it be? Ming was eager to get started, so he found a stray dog that had been wandering around town. He took the dog home and named him Li. Ming tried to act just the way Cheng had. He held the dog's gaze and then nodded. "Dance for me, Li," Ming commanded in a loud voice. He hummed a tune and clapped his hands the way Cheng had, but Li responded by looking confused and scared. "Dance, Li. Dance for me, you silly dog," he urged more loudly. However, the poor dog detected the anger in Ming's voice, and he ran behind a tree and hid. Ming tried again and again, but he was not successful. No matter what he said or did, the dog would not obey him. Now Ming was totally confused and frustrated. He thought he was doing exactly what Cheng had done. "Why isn't it working for me?" he asked himself. So he went to see Cheng to ask for his advice, and he brought Li with him. "Master, I have been watching you for a long time. Dogs always obey you. However, this dog pays no attention to what I say. I do not know what I am doing wrong." "My dear boy, you want this dog to perform tricks," replied the wise man. "But what have you done for the dog? Are you kind to him? Do you soothe him when he is scared? Are you patient with him? Do you reward him when he does well?" Ming listened carefully to Cheng's questions. Then he nodded and smiled. "I understand what you are saying," he said. "Thank you, my teacher." He couldn't wait to try the tricks again with Li. Ming returned home with Li. From that day on, he was always kind to his dog. He petted him often. He played with him, and he gave him good food to eat. Soon the dog grew to love and trust Ming. A few weeks later, Ming took Lee to the town square. Several people gathered to watch them. Ming stroked Lee's head and smiled at him. He held the dog's gaze for a few seconds. Then, in a kind voice, he gave Lee commands to shake hands and roll over. Lee happily did as he was told, and Ming rewarded him with a treat and patted his head again. The gathering crowd applauded, including Chung, who smiled at Ming. "You have learned an important lesson, my son," said Chung. "You must give first before you can receive. It is this way with all living creatures."
Okay, now boys and girls, tell me a little bit about Ming's teacher. What did we learn here? How was Ming and the dog Lee working together? What were they trying to do? One thing that you can do as you are reading, or even as you're listening to a story, is to visualize. That means to take the pictures that you see and the words that you hear and make another picture in your head. Something that helps you to see the story and understand the story a little bit more. Sometimes the pictures that we create are the ones that are missing, that are not shown to us to make the story more clear. So I might have been visualizing while I was reading in Ming's teacher about the dog Lee and Ming practicing the tricks. What was he doing to help him practice? When was he giving him the treats and the praise, things of that nature? Okay, boys and girls, I'd like you to practice visualizing this week as we read some of our other stories. Now, we're going to do a little bit of word work this morning, and we're going to start with one of my favorite things. So as you can see, one of these things is not like the other. One of these things just doesn't belong. Let's look at my group of words. I have the words key, lucky, and truth. I want to know which word does not belong in this group. Well, when I'm looking at the words, I can see key and lucky both end with that long E sound. Truth does not. Truth does not belong. Let's try another one. Stamp, bond, jump. Well, stamp and jump both end with that MP, the sound. Bond does not, so it does not belong. Why don't you try this one? We have the word page, bridge, and log. Which word does not belong, boys and girls? If you said the word log, you're right. Page and bridge both end with a GE. Log is only ending with a G. It has a different sound than the other words do. Now, boys and girls, this week, I have some more words up here. We are going to be looking at words that have a long E, but we're not looking at words with a long E in the middle of the word. We're looking at words that have a long E at the end of the word. And we're not even really going to see the letter E. We're going to see the letter Y, or we might see the combination of EY. Let me give you some examples. The words baby, puppy, and kitty both have the Y at the end. My goodness, boys and girls, I made a mistake here. We should not see that E in kitty. It should just be a Y. So they have the long E sound where it's just a Y. Then you can see words like key and the name Mickey, just like my dog. They both end with EY. They have that long E sound. Now, I would like for you to look at my sentences. Can you help me find words in the sentences that have a long E sound at the end of the word? My first sentence says the baby is very fussy. Which words have the long E sound at the end of the word? If you said the word baby and fussy, you were right. Both of them end with the long E. We can see that Y at the end of baby and the Y at the end of fussy are making the long E sound. How about Tommy lost his key in the muddy pond? Oh, how many words do you see here with the long E sound? Well, let's see here. I think I see 3 words. Did you find 3 words? If you found Tommy, key, and muddy, then you were right. They all have the long E sound at the end of the word. Boys and girls, this is going to be very important because our spelling words this week all have the long E sound at the end of the word. So we know that our spelling words are going to be ending with a Y or an EY. Okay, I hope that was helpful for all of you. I will see you tomorrow on Zoom. Happy Monday.